Tenure is a hot-button issue in a country consumed with a desire for education reform following falling test scores and a failure to meet school standards for American children. Parents who desire a successful future for their children and children who want a successful future for themselves all have a stake in the laws governing who stands in front of the classroom tasked with educating the next generation. That person who stands in front of the classroom has even higher stakes in the debate over whether or not tenure has a place in our educational system. With both sides arguing equally extreme points of view, we must ask, why are they arguing? And even more importantly, how can we find a solution that doesn't further exacerbate the deficits in our educational system? The answer lies in moderation between the two sides, through comparing and contrasting the university and K-12 tenure systems, exploring existing teacher protections, and understanding the experience of others. We will come to the solution of better written contracts, longer probation periods, and a merit-based system. Tenure is, in essence, an award given to teachers after a period of time that grants them a job for a set amount of time or for life. It is a guarantee of employment and is commonplace in educational and governmental contracts. Tenure is not standard in contracts for most other professions. Tenure was created to protect teachers from arbitrary firing. In the late 1800s, race, pregnancy, sexual orientation, or politics could be grounds for the dismissal of an educator. In the mid-1880s, the NEA was promoting the idea of tenure to protect teachers from an unjust system, and systematically, state by state, the privilege of tenure was extended to K-12 teachers. While tenure was created to protect women, people of color, other minorities, as well as protection from arbitrary firing, it is time to recognize that these rights are protected by other laws. After all, what protects all non-white heterosexual males in other labor sectors? Anti-discrimination laws play a large role in protecting minorities, and the First and 14th Amendments protect teachers' free speech within reason, as well as their rights to due process in a dismissal. K-12 teachers are almost always guaranteed tenure after as little as 2 years. Tenure is not based on merit or high performance. Rather, adequate performance is enough to guarantee a job for life. In comparison, the college tenure track is truly daunting. Criteria includes teaching responsibilities, research, service to the university, and service to the community. It seems to me that college tenure is an earned privilege. It requires overwhelming amounts of hard work. It requires a massive time commitment and a true, measurable contribution to students, the school, and the community. College tenure is a reward for sacrificing a huge amount of one's life in dedication to their profession. College tenure should logically help to weed out unmotivated and poor professors simply because of the difficulty of qualifying for tenure. Why do we award K-12 teachers tenure so quickly with almost none of the same challenges that college professors must overcome? Why shouldn't we challenge our K-12 teachers equally? Because they have an equal, if not greater, role in shaping the minds of the youth. During the last 5 years, Illinois school districts that have required law firms to remove a teacher shelled out over $219,000 for lawyers. Shockingly, 44% of these situations haven't even been resolved yet. In New York City, it costs the taxpayer on average $250,000 to fire a bad teacher, regardless of the grievance against them. On average, the amount of money spent on firing teachers for egregious offenses could buy 70,000 meals for children in need. That's 2 free meals a day for 202 children for 1 school year, based off of the Illinois State School lunch cost. The heart of the disagreement over tenure lies in a desire for improved education. On one side, all teachers must be protected to ensure teachers feel secure and translate that into a good learning environment. On the other, people are frustrated with how difficult it is to fire bad teachers. Between the high cost and lengthy legal proceedings, many feel that it is unnecessarily difficult to fire teachers who have made poor choices in conduct. To truly understand why tenure has become such an issue, it is best to turn to specific examples. One teacher in Florida remained teaching for an entire year, despite demanding that her students call her Miss God and throwing books at students. Carlos Polanco, a teacher in California, was allowed to keep his job after telling one of his students who had missed school due to a suicide attempt that his cuts were weak and stated, "Carve deeper next time." He continued on to say, "You can't even kill yourself," and commented that a classmate knows how to commit suicide better than you. When the Los Angeles school board tried to fire him, the union fought for Carlos, and the school board was overruled. While it was concluded that he did say those things, they said that he meant no harm. My own personal horror story involves a 4th grade teacher with a taste for classroom humiliation, denying bathroom rights, and an explosive temper. After an incident where she denied a bathroom break to a student, the student peed their pants, and she proceeded to make fun of the student in front of the class. The complaints from parents and students rolled in. The solution? They just removed her from the 4th grade classroom and made her the art teacher because she was tenured. The fight has become an all-or-nothing fight. Either we get rid of tenure entirely, or we keep it entirely as it is. It seems the fight has become teachers and unions versus government and reformers. But where do the kids fall in the fight? It seems that fighting over extremes without making any changes doesn't help those who are supposed to be benefiting from the proposed reforms. Teachers' unions who want no change to tenure ignore the effect that hard-to-fire bad teachers have on students. On the other hand, those who want to completely eliminate tenure forget about what might happen in our schools if we completely alienate teachers, ranging from fewer new teachers to less innovative teachers. So what can we do? College tenure may have its problems, but it takes a much more moderate approach to the tenure debate. Universities treat tenure like a reward instead of a privilege, requiring a massive amount of time, work, and effort to even be considered. The university system can weed out teachers who are subpar. If we required teachers to truly show their merit and require them to make a large contribution to school and community, we are far more likely to end up with a higher quality of teacher. With longer probation periods, there is much more time for quality assessment. If we were also to more tightly define tenure and give it a shorter time period after which tenure could be renewed or taken away based on performance, we could virtually eliminate bad teachers remaining on staff for years and years. Contracts should be written to provide due process and evidence for firing a teacher. However, if there is substantial evidence of misconduct, then removal should be swift and simple. It shouldn't be hard to fire a bad teacher. When conduct is bad, there should be clear consequences for those actions. Protection for protection's sake undermines the concept of accountability, which is the only way we can ensure that conduct is taken seriously. There is nothing wrong with giving high-quality teachers security, But when a serious and negative event happens, it should be relatively easy and free to fire a teacher. It should not cost thousands of dollars to remove someone who has had poor behavior. Due to extremely high costs and excessive roadblocks, firing bad teachers has become more trouble than it is worth. $250,000 to fire someone is just too much money for anyone. Even when school boards vote to remove an out-of-line teacher, the unions come to bat and usually win. With the unions fighting to keep tenure exactly the same, and school administrations, along with state governments, fighting to eliminate it completely, it is clear that no one is getting anywhere. The fact is, both sides are fighting about how to improve our schools and best educate our children. With better contracts, a merit-based system, more rigorous tenure requirements, and real consequences for poor behavior, we could have a tenure reform that protects not only the teachers, but the students who sit in their classrooms. Reform that sets parents, schools, teachers, and children at ease knowing that the teachers who are in their schools actually deserve to be there.